Yes, another Saturday here in Dublin. It is December the 18th. We are almost at Christmas time. Mark Topping, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, John Noble. I am in great form. What about yourself?
Oh, Mark, I'm in fantastic form. Any tissues today? Our last podcast for a little while, Mark.
Yes, it's coming up to the Christmas break, and we might. I'm not sure how long we're going to break for. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks, John, and the podcast will return in mid to late January.
Yeah, I think so. I think we need a break. People say our voices are getting hoarse, Mark. We have to stop talking and recharge our vocal cords, Mark.
Yes, indeed. And there's not much badminton over the Christmas, so there's nothing to comment on.
No, except the QWAG is tomorrow. Don't forget, we have that one, Mark. And yes. Singles and doubles for you and me, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. In Baldoyle Badminton Centre. A good gang coming out again on Sunday the 19th. Looking forward to that, John.
Yeah, listen, thanks to, of course, the Q Shuttle. It's competition time tomorrow. Of course, we need to get going today because we have to do our final little... We've got to do our final little piece here, which, of course, Mark, is to wrap up really the competition that happened in Galway at the weekend at the Galway Lawn Tennis Club, which is obviously the badminton courts are in there. So, Mark, that's really what we want to quickly talk about and then wish our listeners a Feliz Navidad.
John, very, you've been studying your languages. Very good, very good. I'm very impressed.
Gracias.
Yes, John, you were our live reporter at the scene, but I'll maybe just give you a bit of my view from I was in Dublin watching on the live stream again. Absolutely fantastic quality on the video, and the microphones picked up a lot. You could hear everything very clearly. Also, the umpires, so professional. What a tournament. I did see Greg Farrell in the background, a few shots.
Greg was working like a horse there. Never stopped working. He's some man for one man, to use that expression.
Absolutely. These things don't run without planning and thought and scheduling and somebody to drive it all. So Greg, well done. And yeah, I watched a lot. I loved the quality. Philip McEwen's quality is much better than actually the BWF World Championship stream. I think so, anyway.
Make him president, I say. Make him president.
I think the BWF need to get in contact with Philip McEwen and get his expertise, buy his expertise, and get him on board. But anyway, let's go back. You were the live reporter. What were your thoughts on the tournament? Who stood out for you? Yeah, it was the under-13s and the under-17s.
Yeah, well, of course, if you do go onto the badminton tournament software, you can see all the different games from round one and right through to the final of the winners, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with that. I would like to begin by saying really congratulations to the Galway committee that look and run this tournament, if I'm stating the right people. The hall was fantastic.
Was it? Yeah.
There's been a big investment in the hall.
Good.
Floors were beautifully sprung. Walls were painted blue. Mm-hmm. And they had great cladding and the bathroom facilities and everything. Just top job to the Galway. And it's due one of these, Mark.
That's what we like to see. Infrastructure. Good infrastructure for badminton.
Excellent infrastructure for badminton, and I have to say the standard was great. So if we just briefly look at the kind of the winners and runner-ups in the 13s, Jeffrey Wrong was from Ulster. He was the winner with playing against Robert Cowman. Cowman.
Yes, he's in Whitehall Road Junior Badminton Club, John.
Oh, right, I see. So you've been a little bit biased to your member there, Mark. Is that right?
Absolutely. Wouldn't you? We all are slightly biased to our own club members.
Yeah, well, Robert had a very good semi-final against Corey Chambers. It went 3 sets, which probably took a tiny bit of his energy, but Jeffrey was by far, and he was seeded 1. He came through 21 16, 21, 8, and deservedly. So well done to Jeffrey. A player that's been really, Hannah Shoshin, the Shoshin family's team, Shoshins, they are workhorses. I have to say, great.
Hannah used to be a member of Whitehall, has been a member of Whitehall Road Junior Badminton Club for the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, Mark, it never stops, does it? My goodness, Whitehall Road Junior Badminton Club, they are, to be fairness to you, Mark, they are a really good engine for producing really good players. Lots of juvenile to moving to juniors and then moving on into the academies and into playing at really good level. But Hannah was highly impressive because in the semi-finals against, she won quite easily against Leah Prakas, but she was seeded 2, and Amira Prenda beat Ella Chung. Ella did really well because she's now taken up the badminton from that great family called the Chungs, and it was great to see her there getting to a semi-finals. Of course, the experience of Pender taught. Ella did adjust. The score was better than the result of 10 and 10, so great future for Ella Chung. But Amira Pender went into the final as seeded 1, and to be honest, she was nearly home, but Hannah Shoshin kept the length of the shuttle on those courts, which was quite challenging to do. Came through in 3 sets, 11, 17, 21, 21, 17, and she was the absolute clear winner, and well done. The other winners, the mix was Jeffrey Wrong and Amir Pender, strong number 1, who beat Robert Cowman, your guy, Mark Topping, and Hannah Shoshin again, so all those names appearing. Boys doubles, Robert Coman and Jeffrey Wrong beat Connor Blakeman and Corey Chambers. And finally, Amir Prenda, Hannah Shoshin again beat Gopinan and Carl Joy in the mix. So great juniors coming, juveniles, I'll call them juveniles because I tend to call juvenile just as they move into the under 15, 17, they become really juniors, and super future for badminton.
Yes,
and,
I would agree.
I think there's, keep doing what you're doing. We're going to see a lot of more of those faces threatening into, of course, the next age group. And we had then in the under 17s, Mark.
Yes. You had a good interest here, John, with your son Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, there was some great competitions in the early rounds, and then Dylan played Alan Doyle in the semis, and Matthew played Pranav in the semis. It was quite interesting watching both games. The score systems for both matches were roughly ticking over at the same, and both matches ended up in 2 sets. And I have to say, both Pranav and Alan Doyle should feel very proud of what they did. A good performance. But, there were only going to be 2 winners in those setups. And Dylan took Alan in 2 sets. Gallon competed better in the first set and just took the sting out of the tail in the second. And Matthew Chung beat Pranav, as I say, pretty much in the same score. So then it was really head-to-head with them. And they had a fantastic competition back in the Ulster, competition there in the under-19s not so long ago. So it was very interesting to see how was this level of competition between, which could become, something interesting over the next few years with maybe 1 or 2 other players, Dylan versus Matthew. And it was a cracking final. It was 21-17. Yeah, 21-17. High quality. Matthew played really top level of the game. He had to, because Dylan was very much matching him point for point. He was even up at the turn in the first set, 11-8. But Matthew, his technical and his accuracy held up in the very end. Dylan put everything in that he could do. I think Matthew adjusted to the hall that little bit quicker, a little bit better. But a brilliant final, an absolutely brilliant final, and deservedly, that those 2 players were the finalists. And congratulations to Matthew Chung. He now knows that he's got Dylan on his coat's tails, which is good for the game. And
it is, yeah. But I really rate Matthew Chung. I think he's a great,
lovely player.
Talent. Moves so efficiently on the court. Tactically very sound. Always looking to bring. He's got a good smash. He's always looking to bring his smash into play. So really, but I was very impressed with the quality of that under 17 final. That is one of the better under 17 nationals. I mean, there's been a lot of good players, but that was a particularly high quality under-17 nationals final, I felt.
Yes, no, absolutely, Mark. We're here on Saturday, the 18th of December, which is unbelievable. By the time you hear this, it'll be Christmas Day. You'll be listening to us on Christmas Day. How better would it be to listen to Mark Topping and John Noble while you're having your Christmas pudding instead of listening to the Queen or the King or whatever, the Prince, the Princess. We've got to make sure we kind of balance everything. So, yes, Mark.
How did the women's singles go?
The women's singles was between Michelle Shoshin and Nessa Flynn. And, again, a really good bunch of singles players that are bunching up in the
Michelle again,
girls.
From the Whitehall Road stable, Whitehall Road Junior.
All right,
Badminton
Mark,
Club.
okay, cool it down. We hear what you're saying. And Nessa Flynn, where's Nessa Flynn from?
Nessa is Nace, I believe.
Nace, that's what I thought. Oh, not from your club, Mark.
No,
okay,
no,
right,
no,
okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
She beat Nicole Joy.
Who is from Whitehall Road
But
Junior
she was
Badminton
speeding,
Club.
don't you see?
Right,
Well,
okay.
so you don't always get there, but Nicole's a great. She's a little younger,
Yes,
super
she
player.
is.
At the very end, Michelle beat Ava Bogo-Solosica in the semis, and it was obviously Michelle versus Nessa. Nessa had a really terrific win against Nicole Joy, 16-21, 21-19. She was behind 17, if I'm right, 17-15 or 2 or 3 points, was able to turn that around, and then won the third set. You never write Nessa off. Excellent stamina. And but there was only one winner, Michelle Shoshin, 8-12. Michelle is showing her pedigree in the girls' singles, and she is one to watch for the future.
A fine prospect, Michelle.
A fine
Shoshin.
prospect. So
Yeah.
Congratulations, Michelle, along with your sisters, a wad of medals. Matthew and Dylan won the doubles. They teamed up together, and a good final for Jack and Robbie, but Matthew and Dylan, I think, were always going to be favourites for that. With Fionn Dowling and Senan O'Rourke, Rory and Carl, good number 3 and 4 position. And then we had the girls' doubles. Chloe and Paige won. Congratulations to them. A great win against Laura Bell and Nessa Flynn. And then the mixed doubles, Christopher Chi and Michelle Shoshin was probably the shock of the finals, beat Dylan and Paige.
I was slightly surprised at that, John.
In two...
although two very good players, Christopher Chi and Michelle Shoshin.
Yeah, well, for the age category, they won the final... The final numbers here, as I get it up my screen, was 21-18, 23-21. And I think actually it was a combination of Christopher and Michelle had nothing to fear with this, everything to gain for. I think Dylan and Paige perhaps were a tiny bit too relaxed going into that. Dylan had come off a tough singles, and really congratulations to Christopher and Michelle. They went and played level doubles against the mixed format, and it was a bit too late, just as they were catching up. It was a bit too late, and Christopher and Michelle took the win, and probably it was the surprise. But I think the next time that match happens, it will be a very interesting
to watch
encounter to watch. But congratulations, you have to take your. They were the deserved winners. They focused most on the game, and look, that wrapped up a fantastic tournament. On the under-17s and under-15s. So, Mark, we are out to really nearly buy our Christmas presents now as our listeners here. So,
I am. I'm going to go off and do a bit of shopping.
Yeah, a bit of shopping because it's getting to that kind of time of year. It's been a great, Mark. 52 episodes on the podcast.
Have we done 52?
We've done 52, possibly 53, 53. We've done a years of episodes on the Badminton Talk podcast. Can you believe that, Mark?
It was a new project or a new thing that we took on. And it's been fascinating.
Yes, we started when it was in COVID. We're still in COVID, Mark.
Will it ever end, John?
I've had my booster. What about you?
Yes, I had it this week. Yes.
I have my 2 vaccines.
And my 2 Pfizer as well.
I had my flu jab.
Yeah, so have I, John.
Oh my God. It's non-stop, isn't it? My goodness, but it's better to play it safe than sorry. We've had just about 3,000 downloads. A big thanks to all our Badminton Talk listeners, Mark. Isn't that something amazing?
That is incredible. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. I've enjoyed it. I think you have as well, John.
Yes, no, I've absolutely enjoyed it. It's actually been brilliant, Mark. So what are your plans for Christmas Day, Mark? Just while you're...
I think just a quiet family one in. I think we're going to get a turkey in. I think tested out. We did a turkey dinner this week, and turkey, a little bit dry, but we enjoyed it. I think we were missing the gravy. I think on Christmas Day we'll get the gravy out to go with it, to get a bit of moisture into the dry turkey.
Oh yeah, that sounds nice. Well, our plans basically are to have my brothers coming down with his partner, and we have also my mom and my sister, and we have my wife's sister, and I'm the cook.
Wow,
I'm the chef. Yeah,
well
they're chilling, and I have to do all the work.
Good man.
So yes, it's one of those. I'm one of those kind of Christmases. I'm looking forward to putting my feet up, Mark. So here we are.
You've had a busy year.
Yes, we have a busy year. Whoops, the music is just getting upon us, Mark. Just to really tell us it's nearly time for us to depart. We will, again, as we lower the music, because we want to just finish with a tiny little bit of a Christmas jingle. We think that might be a little bit appropriate. What do you think, Mark?
Absolutely. What are you going to choose, John?
I think if we can listen to the background, you might be able to guess this. So, one of the greatest songs. So we want to thank our listeners on the Badminton Talk podcast, brought to you by the Q Shuttle. Merry Christmas, Mark Topping.
Merry Christmas to you, John Noble.
And have a great new year.
Likewise.
Okay, Shane, play us out. That's not Shangle Day, by the way.
I went to see the Pogues in Reading years and years ago. It was great. They were great.
I think they were just one of the landmark song. I'm looking here, 80 million views, Mark, 2011. And hopefully, Mark, Santa Claus brings you a new racket for the new year or something nice.
You never know.
So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true. They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the wind goes right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome, you were pretty, Queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they hung out for more. Sinatra was swinging, all the junk they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NY Pity Choir were singing, Go Away Babe. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day.